In May of 2026, Take-Two told investors that Grand Theft Auto V had sold roughly 230 million copies. Let that number settle for a second. Only Minecraft, a game about placing blocks, has sold more. A 13-year-old game about car thieves in fake Los Angeles is the second best-selling game in history, and the franchise around it has shipped almost 470 million units. Here's the question nobody asks. Why? The lazy answer is crime. Violence sells, controversy sells, and Grand Theft Auto has the word theft in the title. Case closed, except that answer falls apart the moment you look at how people actually play. Crime is a genre. Genres burn out. Nobody spends 13 years with a game because they still find carjacking novel in year 11. And yet, by late 2025, tracker sites were reporting somewhere around 18 million monthly active players in GTA Online, and GTA 5 was reportedly the most watched game on Twitch that same year. A game from 2013, outdrawing everything built since. Something else is holding people there, and I'd argue it's the thing Rockstar has been quietly selling all along. Freedom. Not the freedom to commit crimes, the freedom to do anything. The crime is the permission slip. The world is the product. Think about what the game actually hands you. When GTA 5 was revealed back in 2012, Rockstar claimed its world was bigger than Red Dead Redemption, San Andreas, and GTA 4 combined. Fans with measuring tools have spent years mapping it themselves. The numbers vary, none of them are official, but the obsession is the point. People don't survey a crime scene, they survey a country, a place with a desert, an ocean floor, hiking trails, a stock market, and a city that hums whether or not you ever touch a mission marker. The mission structure is the tour, the world is the destination, and once you see the series that way, everything else about its success stops being mysterious. There's an academic term for what GTA players do, and it's better than anything the marketing department ever wrote. In 2008, the scholar Kiri Miller published a study of GTA players and called their behaviour game world tourism. Players cycling between total immersion in the place and an ironic, detached appreciation of it. Like travellers who keep stepping back to admire the postcard they're standing inside. Tourism, not conquest, not completion. Tourism. Miller wasn't studying speedrunners or trophy hunters. She was watching people treat a fictional city the way you'd treat New Orleans or Tokyo, wandering it, photographing it in their heads, savouring the feeling of being somewhere else. That was 2008, one game into the HD era. Everything Rockstar has built since reads like a company that came to the same conclusion. And the itinerary keeps getting more domestic. Look at what the series has actually let you buy over the years. This is series history, not statistics. Vice City introduced purchasable property in 2002. San Andreas added gyms, meals that changed your body, cars you could customize. And then, GTA Online built the whole thing out into a full aspirational economy. Apartments, offices, nightclubs, yachts. Impress and community accounts, players in GTA 5 and online scuba dive, play golf, gamble, run businesses, flip real estate. None of that is crime. Most of it is a lifestyle magazine you can walk around in. Then there's roleplay, which is where the mask comes all the way off. On GTA's roleplay servers, players spend their evenings as taxi drivers, nightclub owners, and, I promise this is real, police officers. In a game called Grand Theft Auto, people log in to be cops. Press coverage has reportedly credited the roleplay scene with keeping the game alive through the long wait for GTA 6. When the crime fantasy runs dry, the life fantasy keeps going, because the life fantasy was always the deeper one. Here's my read. GTA is aspiration with the safety off. It sells the American good life, the penthouse, the supercar, the club with your name on it, to people who will mostly never touch any of it, and it lets them fail at it without consequence. That's not a crime simulator, that's an escape hatch, and some people have paid startlingly real money to keep it open. Leaked data reportedly showed one player spending around $1 million actual dollars on in-game currency in a single transaction. Hold that thought. We'll come back to what that says about Rockstar's business, because it's not all flattering. But as evidence of the fantasy's pull, it's about as loud as evidence gets. None of this happens by accident, and Rockstar's own artists have been unusually candid about the method. Erin Garbu, the art director who shaped these cities, put the philosophy in one sentence back in 2013. I've always felt we base our games on the way a place lives in your head, rather than the real place. Sit with that, because it's the whole trick. Los Santos is not Los Angeles. It's your memory of Los Angeles. The movie version, the postcard version, the version with the boring parts sanded off and the light always golden. Rockstar doesn't build cities. It builds the feeling of cities, which is why their fake ones feel more real than photorealism ever manages. Garbutt also described the how, every part of the world handcrafted, poured over by what he called a large number of extremely talented artists, all of it holding together with what he called an internal logic. That phrase, internal logic, is the difference between a map and a world. A map is a surface you drive across. A world is a system that seems to continue when you look away. Critics have pointed to the same connective tissue for years. Pedestrians with daily routines, radio stations with entire talk shows nobody is forced to hear. The physics engine in GTA 4 that made every stumble look improvised. The wildlife roaming GTA 5's hills. Individually, each detail is a garnish. Collectively, they're a conspiracy. Hundreds of small systems all quietly agreeing that this place exists. The people at the top have always talked about it in these terms. Dan Houser, Rockstar's longtime co-writer, has described the game's world building in literary terms, comparing the ambition, if not the achievement, to novelists like Dickens, writers who tried to fit an entire society between two covers. That feeling of an entire world being present on the page is, in his telling, the target. And Leslie Benzies, the former Rockstar North president, said something revealing after he left. Announcing his own new studio in 2017, he said he wanted players to have the real freedom to live in game worlds the way they want to. He was talking about his next project, not GTA. But you don't spend a career somewhere and then describe your dream in those exact words unless that dream is the one you'd been chasing all along. So call it what it is. The missions are well made. The writing is sharp. But Rockstar's actual genius, the thing nobody else has matched at this scale, is building places convincing enough to live in. Everything else is set dressing on top of the set. If the world were a side effect, you'd expect the series' history to be a history of better missions. It isn't. Run the timeline, and every landmark is a world-building landmark. 2001. GTA 3 takes the series from a top-down toy to a three-dimensional city, and in doing so basically drafts the blueprint for the modern open-world genre. The leap people remember isn't a mission. It's the moment the city acquired a horizon. 2002, Vice City. The series hires Ray Liotta as its first voice protagonist, but the bigger swing is the calendar. It's 1986. Neon, synth, pastel suits. For the first time, a GTA world isn't just a place. It's an era, a mood you can drive through. World building expands from geography into time. 2004. San Andreas explodes the scale, 3 cities and the countryside between them, and adds character customization, so the world isn't just bigger, it's yours. 2008. GTA 4 pivots hard into realism and detail, a heavier, sadder city, and brings the series online for the first time, which quietly plants the seed of everything GTA Online becomes. And in 2013, GTA 5 hands you 3 switchable protagonists, which sounds like a character feature but is really a world feature. 3 lives running in parallel is Rockstar telling you the city doesn't pause when your guy goes home. You just change the channel. Notice what's missing from that list. No one's landmark memory of this series is a mission structure. Nobody says San Andreas changed gaming because its objectives were better organized. The innovations people actually cite, the ones that moved the whole industry, are dimension, era, scale, density, perspective. 5 different answers to one question. How do we make this place more real? 5 games, 5 leaps, and every single one deepens the place rather than the plot. That's not a pattern you fall into by accident over 12 years. That's a company that knows exactly what its product is. Which brings us to the one everyone's waiting for. Grand Theft Auto 6 launches November 19th, 2026 on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series consoles, a simultaneous worldwide release. It's set in the state of Leonida, including a modern-day Vice City, and it follows 2 protagonists as a pair, Jason Duval and Lucia Caminos. Now consider the reception to a game nobody has played. When the first trailer dropped in December 2023, Guinness certified it as the most viewed video game trailer on YouTube in 24 hours, over 90 million views in a single day, which also made it the most viewed non-music video in YouTube's history over that span. 90 million views in a single day for 90 seconds of a place. No missions were shown, no mechanics were explained, a beach, a street, 2 faces, a state. That was enough to break world records. If GTA's appeal were its gameplay loops, that reaction would be inexplicable. Under our thesis, it's the most predictable thing in the world. People aren't lining up for a game, they're lining up for a destination. The way you anticipate a trip, not a task. And the business world is pricing it that way. Take-Two reportedly posted record net bookings this past fiscal year and reportedly guided to around $8 billion for the next one, largely on the back of a game that hasn't shipped. That's not confidence in a mission list. That's confidence in a place. Rockstar's own behaviour says the same thing. The game has been delayed twice. First out of 2025, then from May to November of 2026, and both times the company pointed to the level of polish players have come to expect. You can read that cynically, and we'll get to the reasons you might. But here's my rant on the design logic. You don't delay a mission list twice. Missions ship rough all the time. You delay a world because a world only works if the illusion never cracks. One seam and the tourist remembers they're standing on a stage. Even the dual protagonists fit the pattern. Jason and Lucia aren't just two playable characters, they're two vantage points on the same place. The same trick GTA 5's channel switching pulled, refined into a relationship. And setting it in Vice City, the series' most beloved mood, the 86 fever dream, now rebuilt as a modern state, is Rockstar returning to the strongest proof it ever offered that a setting can carry a game. GTA 6 feels different because, for the first time, everyone can see what was always true. The place is the star. Now, if I only told you the flattering version, this wouldn't be an essay. It'd be an ad. So let's argue the other side properly, because the case against Rockstar is real, and parts of it land. Start with the oldest charge, the violence. GTA has been a lightning rod for moral panic more or less since it went 3D. Lawsuits, headlines, politicians. Most of that era's specifics deserve their own video, so I'll keep it general, except for the one incident that's thoroughly documented. Hot coffee. In 2005, modders discovered that San Andreas shipped with a cut interactive sex minigame still sitting on the disc. The ratings board re-rated the game adults only, and Take-Two was forced to pull and re-release it to get its mature rating back. Whatever you think of the outrage cycle, that one was self-inflicted. The heavier critique is about the people who build these worlds. In October 2018, Dan Houser told New York Magazine, quote, "We were working 100-hour weeks." He walked it back soon after, clarifying to Kotaku that he'd meant only the 4-person senior writing team for 3 weeks, not years, and that no one at Rockstar, senior or junior, is ever forced to work hard. But the walk back opened a door. Kotaku's Jason Schreier interviewed roughly 77 current and former Rockstar employees, 34 current, 43 former. And the picture they painted was not 3 weeks. Many described 55 to 60-hour weeks as routine, with some hitting 60 to 80 hours in peak crunch. For some, the crunch on Red Dead Redemption 2 had started as far back as 2016. At Rockstar's Lincoln testing studio, overtime was reportedly mandatory from August 2017. A 2020 follow-up reportedly found the company had made major cultural changes since. Good. But the record stands. The handcrafted worlds I've spent this video praising were, by dozens of first-hand accounts, partly built on hours no one should romanticize. Then there's the money. Remember that player who reportedly spent $1 million real on shark cards? A 2025 leak reportedly put GTA Online's lifetime microtransaction revenue past $5 billion, with shark cards making up roughly 3/4 of it. Leaked figures, so hold them loosely. But the community criticism they anchor is long-running and fair. The same aspirational economy that makes the world magnetic is priced to convert your escapism into recurring revenue. The escape hatch has a toll booth. And some critics argue the satire is curdled too. That a series built to mock American excess now mostly profits from simulating it. Its target's a decade out of date. So does any of this sink the thesis? Here's my honest answer. No. It sharpens it. Notice what none of these critiques claim. That the worlds don't work. The crunch reporting is damning precisely because the result was so absorbing that players never saw the cost. The monetization critique is damning precisely because the fantasy is compelling enough to charge for. Even the moral panics were, in their way, backhanded testimony. Nobody legislates against a place no one wants to visit. The critiques don't refute the power of Rockstar's worlds. They document what that power costs, who pays it and who profits. Both things are true at once, and pretending otherwise would insult your intelligence. So here's where I land. Strip away the headlines, the controversies, the sales charts, and what's left is a company that figured out something the rest of the industry is still catching up to. Players don't fall in love with objectives. They fall in love with places, 25 years of evidence, One Direction, the 3D city, the 86 time capsule, the state you could get lost in, the city that felt heavy and real, the 3 lives running in parallel, and now Leonida, a place that pulled 90 million views in a single day, just for a glimpse. Garboot said they build the version of a place that lives in your head. That's why you remember the sunsets and not the checkpoints. That's why people who finished the story a decade ago still log in to drive nowhere in particular. The missions were never the point. They were the excuse. The reason you told yourself you were going back on your way to the thing you actually came for. Rockstar doesn't make crime games, it makes Somewhere Else, and on November 19th, Somewhere Else opens again. This has been Vice City Wire. If the world's the reason you play, you know where the subscribe button is.